Welcome back to the Grid Aces show. I'm your host, Connor Hall, here with Mr. Football Chase Godey. We had one hell of a week of ball to talk about. But first, show some love. Make sure to like and subscribe if you're new. In today's show, we are going to cover a bit of NBA, jump into the NFL news, and react to the weekend games, along with giving our season award predictions. We'll finish it off with predictions for Thursday night football, including betting lines. We went 8 for 9 last week, so make sure to stay tuned for that. And without further ado, let's get into it. The Suns are back, baby. As an Arizona sports fan, I'm hyped. We destroy the Spurs, make Wemby look not as much like an alien as he had before. 9 points, 9 rebounds. He shot 4 of 12, and he had 6 turnovers as a big man. So Suns defense turning up. We also beat the Jazz pretty good the other night. Something with the Suns that has me optimistic is Jordan Ott, head coach, makes a lot of adjustments. And in our first few losses, they were all close games besides one against the Clippers, and it was a tough schedule starting out. So I'm loving what I'm seeing from the Suns. This is the most fun I've had watching a Suns team since the NBA Finals. I'm loving what I'm seeing. It's been a lot of fun. I know all the homies, all the Suns fans around are also feeling the same way. We'll get into a little bit more Suns talk here in a second. Ja Morant was interviewed post game after the loss against, I believe it was the Lakers. And he was interviewed because he basically gave up on his team, and he shot like 3 for 12 or something pretty bad. But in the video, and the video is even worse, essentially they asked him what he could have done better to help the team, and he said, ask the coaching staff. And they kept trying to ask him, how he could improve. He said, ask the coaching staff, ask the coaching staff. So Ja Morant's obviously had a lot of issues off the court, and we're continuing to see just bad attitude. He's the reason Taylor Jenkins, who was a phenomenal coach while he was suspended, but he's the reason Taylor Jenkins was fired when he was. And now it's looking like Ja Morant and his days in Memphis might be slim. A couple teams that they're kind of drawing up are the Suns, the Raptors. I've seen, I guess that's it. The Suns and the Raptors are two heavy teams they're talking about. Morant potentially ending up at, and personally, even though he's a bit of a loser off the court, I wouldn't mind having him in the backfield with Devin Booker. OKC is the last undefeated team. We saw the Bulls lose this last week. We saw the Spurs lose. We talked about that. And we saw the 76ers lose as well. And so now OKC is the team to beat. They're continuing strong. Shea is playing flawless basketball. Even with an injury-riddled squad, they cannot be beaten. So they just beat the crap out of the Pelicans with Shea and not much else. So looking good over there. The other hot storyline is that the Portland Trailblazers, ever since the Chauncey Billups arrest, have been cooking. They're 4-2, fourth in the West. It's a fun young squad, and clearly the issue was the fact that Chauncey Billups was losing games purposely. So they're looking really good. The defense is nice. The offense is looking pretty good as well. Drew Holiday's looking like his prime self, even though he's 80 years old. So my question for you, Chase, have you heard much about this gambling scheme going on? Illegal gambling scheme?
No, I've almost heard too much, right? A whole lot more than I would want to hear, especially as a sports fan that holds the integrity of the sport super, super high. But yeah, it's an absolute nightmare. And I know it's obviously not what the NBA wants, especially with all their sponsorships being DraftKings, ESPN Bet, FanDuel, and just pushing gambling onto their fans. And then to have something like this is obviously not a good look. I mean, I thought it was funny that you'd be watching ESPN and they'd be talking about the obviously all the illegal gambling that's happening, fixing games, and then like it cuts to commercial, right? And it's a betting commercial, but it just shows you obviously where the league's been. I think it's a horrible look for not Adam Sandler, Adam Silver.
Shout out Adam
And
Sandler, the GOAT.
hey, he would probably do a better job than Adam Silver as
Yeah,
commish.
get Adam Silver out of here.
Yeah, not a good look. You talk about another alien, right? That's a different type of alien.
He's literal. He's a literal alien.
But yeah, not a good look, and it's
So
definitely
my
bigger.
question for you is, yeah, it is obviously bigger than what's been
Totally.
um, uncovered at this time.
Mhm.
But my question for you is, how much bigger? Do you think do you think there's NFL players involved? Do you think there's MLB players involved? I know a common conspiracy is Shohei Ohtani, right? He's had some of those illegal
Mhm.
gambling narratives in the past as well, some of those allegations and issues. So, how far do you think it extends? Obviously, we can only know so much, but do you think it's also in these other leagues? Do you think it's primarily NBA? What do you think?
I think it's primarily NBA. Like, I think a lot of the Shohei Ohtani gambling stuff was just like illegal gambling, but not necessarily fixing baseball games. Because my biggest issue is football and baseball um, are pretty hard to fix. The one that's interesting in baseball is like and I saw this with one of their pitchers. I can't remember his name, but he ended up getting suspended without pay while they were investigating it. But you could bet on whether the next pitch would be a ball or a strike. And this one player, there's been huge amounts of money thrown onto a few pitches, like for it to be a ball, and he like bounces it in the dirt. And you're like, what? Like, okay, there was $150,000 on him to throw a ball and he bounces it. And it's just this random pitch. So I think that one, but it's like, it's so rare and so obvious that they can't get away with it versus like player props is like pretty easy. Baseball pitchers could probably fix stuff. The football one I see pretty tough to fix. Just because there's so many moving parts in football games, right? You don't just always get the ball and can like completely control everything without faking an injury. But yeah, I think this one's been pretty bad for basketball as far as it's easy to throw, it's easy to fix. It's had issues in the past with the referees way back when. But yeah, I think it's pretty big. And I think these guys that are getting arrested right now are going to start ratting out some other people. We're going to start,
Yeah.
hey, I'll take a little bit less on my sentence, right? Or I'll get off scotch free if I give you 4 more names. And so I think it's going to unravel. And I think it's going to be a long process. I think in like the next 6 months, it's going to be like close to fully unraveled. But yeah, pretty massive.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there. Hopefully everything gets fully unraveled and we can get rid of this sickness in the league.
Ugh.
Speaking of other leagues, let's transition into league news with Chase. What do you got for us, Chase?
Yeah, obviously the trade deadline is approaching. Pretty much by the time this video gets posted, the trade deadline will have been official. So maybe there's a few more that we end up missing. But obviously, my birds, they have to be doing something. Howie Roseman, no one's going to accuse him of not working, right? And what I love about it is every GM could do it. Everyone has the same salary cap restrictions. So it's not like there's any sort of cheating like the Dodgers out there get to just write checks and defer a bunch of money to forever and ever out.
I don't think
Um,
I've ever seen a team work so hard pre-trade deadline.
it's
I feel
ridiculous,
like
right? They've
every trade announcement, it's something with the Eagles and some other team. I saw
oh
this
yeah, I
meme
mean,
today where it was like someone called the Chargers up, right? Like one of the GMs, and he's like, "Who are you
mhm.
on the phone with?" And he's like, "Dude, it's Howie." And he's like, "Hang up the phone." But dude, he's such a nice guy. Who did you give him? Yeah, we gave him Jalen Phillips. For what? Dude, it was a 3rd round pick. It's a great trade. And then they're just blowing up on him about it because you don't trade with the Eagles. Stop making the Eagles better. So
Yeah. And
love the
what's
trade
funny
for him.
about it what's funny about it is I love it because like obviously like half their trades don't really work out, but there's a few that stick and end up helping them out big time. And they're literally
It's like
trading
me in
players.
fantasy.
They're literally trading players that they traded for, right? They traded for John Mechie, and then in a trade 8 weeks later, they're using him, in another
Yeah,
trade and
that's
send him
true.
off. So the big trade news, Connor, is Jalen Phillips, right? big time defensive end for the Dolphins is coming to the Birds, who are having big pass rush issues, especially from their edge rushers. Jalen Phillips is one who was a really, really good player, has been injured the last couple seasons and underperforming, hence why the Dolphins are willing to get rid of him. They're getting a third-round pick. It's essentially kind of a rental. If it's in his last year of his contract, if he ends up leaving the Eagles, they'll get a compensatory pick, probably third, fourth, fifth round. So that's why it's a low risk one for the Eagles with high reward. But the Dolphins get a very, very solid pick there that they can hopefully turn into something. And then the Eagles are getting Jair Alexander. Man used to be a dog.
Just to
Keyword
spice up the locker room.
keyword used to be.
He used to be
he
so
is
sick.
he is a shell of himself. But hopefully he can be plugged around in the Eagles system and make a lot of plays, or potentially just be a depth piece, because all the Eagles are giving up is a sixth rounder, and they're getting him and a seventh. So obviously not a super high value. It's a big name who's been underperforming, and obviously corners, as soon as they lose a step, they're kind of cooked. And so a lot of people think he's lost that step, but good depth piece. If he has to play, hopefully Vic Fangio's system makes him good. Now, in even bigger news, not a great week for the injuries, and especially if you are a Commanders fan. Jaden Daniels got hurt on the exact same yard line as another once young, promising quarterback, RG3. So Jaden Daniels, obviously everyone saw it, did not look pretty for his elbow.
I'm surprised they showed that on the broadcast. I mean, that was a
Not good.
brutal
Yeah, they hit him
injury.
with his butt.
Dude,
And
what
sure
are
enough,
they doing playing Jaden Daniels 31-7 in that moment? He shouldn't even be in the game, if you ask me.
It's somewhat fair, but obviously after, your young quarterback who still obviously needs to develop even further, clearly, hasn't been playing well, you don't really want to just pull him and be like, okay, well, let's hope next week's better. And obviously we've seen some crazy comebacks. Obviously that one was too deep of a hole to come back from. But it's like you need to see him play. Like it's hard because it was at the very end of the drive, right? The drive started with like 12 minutes left. What are you going to do? Bench him at 12 minutes? So super unfortunate, but at least it's on his non-throwing arm. Look for some positives, a little bit of a silver lining. Tucker Kraft, torn ACL, out for the season. Niners first round draft pick Michael Williams, torn ACL. Kind of wanted to throw that one in there because if you're a Niners fan, you just got to be used to this
Can't
point,
catch
right?
a break, dude.
You got to expect 1 week, right? So you got to keep hoping that it's not CMC, not George Kittle. That they're not the ones getting the serious injuries. And then this one, I thought was pretty interesting. He's a great player. Not that it's like super monumental, but Frankie Louvu, linebacker for the Commanders, suspended for like dangerous plays towards the players. He's got recorded for his third hip drop tackle, which obviously the NFL is trying to limit because so many injuries come from it. Just where these players are obviously swinging all their weight back on towards that player. You see knees rolled up, ankles rolled up. So Frankie Louvu's been suspended a game for that. So it's interesting to see the NFL's kind of actually backing what they said they were going to do in the preseason. So that's the news. I don't know if you got anything else in the news.
Nope, that's perfect. Let's transition into Monday Night Football. We finally did it. We finally got the win. It's a good feeling to have Arizona sports win back-to-back nights. Cardinals improved to 3-5. We are so back, baby. And the Cowboys fall to 3-5-1. So, first of all, Cowboys suck. Dak did not look great. That Cardinals defense did, however. 27-17 was the final score. It should have been not as close. The defense only allowed 10 points. And I was really impressed with our coverage on CeeDee Lamb. I was impressed with our coverage on George Pickens. And it's a young defense. We also got to see Walter Nolan get out there, which I was very excited for. For those of you that don't know, Cardinals first round draft pick, D T. Walter Nolan. So super hyped that our team's getting healthy on defense. The defense looked really good against one of the best offenses in the league. They were ranked second in the league in points per game before this game. So I thought we played phenomenal. A clutch fumble recovery in the end to save the game when it looked like they were maybe going to come back. And we also got another fumble on Fergie a couple quarters prior. So that was huge. Defense played great. This team was due for a win. And I was just kidding about us being back. At this point, I'm actually kind of rooting for us to suck so we can get a good pick and get a good quarterback in the draft. But it is always exciting when your team wins, especially on a primetime game. So love to see that. Now, Chase, I'm very excited about this as a Cardinals fan. I know most Arizona sports fans are as well. Kyler Murray heading into this game was listed as available, and it cut to him on the sideline many times, and he wasn't even dressed. And this just has me thinking that Kyler Murray is out the door. I hope we run with Brissett the rest of the season. Just try to lose, and even though he plays winning football, maybe we get a good pick and we can actually draft a quarterback more designed for the current NFL. I think just these little guys that run around, we're seeing with Kyler, Bryce Young, etc. Like they just aren't working out in the NFL. And then we're going against Seattle next week. We got to take this momentum and carry it in. If we do win, then it's like, okay, now even though we're in the hardest division in the league, maybe we have a chance if we, come out to
Yeah.
4 and
Luckily, the
5. And
Seahawks haven't looked too good. That's the
that's
good
true. They
news.
suck. Luckily, the Niners keep getting hurt, so that's our slight hope. But the Rams and Seahawks look insane, so we're probably cooked. But I always want to beat the Seahawks, regardless of how much I'm trying to lose, because I hate them. Okay. Anything you have to say about Monday Night Football?
Yeah. I mean, I think for me, the biggest difference between these two teams was one team was situationally better and one team executed better, right? The Cowboys came out and I was no clue what they were doing on that first drive, right? They cooked the ball downfield, all the momentum in the world, and then they go for it 4th and goal from the 4. Like it just
Yeah,
doesn't make
weird.
sense, right? Go get yourself 3 points, get a positive, get some points because then the Cardinals go down, they kick a field goal, and you're like, oh, we're already in this hole. We could have been tied. Then they went for it later, right? When it was 10 points and they're driving down the field before they fumbled, they would have kicked the field goal again, but they went for it on 4th down. And then obviously they had the 2 fumbles in plus territory. But yeah, they just couldn't execute at all well. And the Cardinals, hats off to them. They wanted it more. When you could argue that they could have easily just packed it in away on the road, really tough offense. Obviously you get to go against the Cowboys defense, which is always a get right moment. Shout out to the Cowboys defense. They gave up less points than average. That's awesome for them. Hang your hat. 27 points is an improvement on the average for the defense.
Hoorah.
But yeah, I thought it was an awesome win for the Cardinals. But yeah, just I don't know what you can do with the Cowboys. But my biggest takeaway from it, shout out my Birds, got to win. Got to win on the bye week. When every team in your
Yes, they
division
did. We'll talk
when
about the
every team
Eagles a little bit later. That's a little foreshadowing.
when every team in your division loses when you're on bye week, that's a win. So now the Eagles are 3.5 games up in
Every
their
team
division
did
with
lose. That is crazy.
Cowboys 3-5-1,
Did you see that
3.5 games back.
Stephen A had a little interview with Jerry Jones?
Yeah, that was kind of interesting.
That was kind of interesting. And you could obviously tell that obviously Stephen A doesn't love Jerry. I mean, that's very obvious. We also
Mhm.
saw it showed a couple they would cut to them mid game a couple times. And the first time it cuts to him is after the first Cardinals fumble recovery. And it cuts to Stephen A, and he's just got this look on his face, right? Just kind of like, yeesh. But then, and then 10 minutes later, it cuts to Stephen A shaking Jerry's hand and getting up out of here. And that was just the perfect sign of disrespect to Jerry there. Just, dude, your team sucks. I'm out.
What was funny though is as soon as he left, they blocked that punt for a touchdown.
Yeah, that's true.
Got that bad mojo out of there. No, but yeah,
Yeah.
interesting. I'll probably tune into First Take and hear what was going on there because I'm sure Stephen A is going to talk about it.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear about it. This weekend was electric, Chase. We had a ton of upsets. We had a ton of close games, even games that we didn't think were going to be close games. We had high scoring battles. We had defensive battles, and there was just a lot of exciting games, exciting moments. There was also disappointing moments, and a new record broken in the NFL came this weekend. We'll get into that in a second. But first, Colts go into Acrisure Stadium. And Chase, I came on last show and I told everyone take the Steelers +3 because this felt like a sneaky, perfect bounce back, letdown spot for the Colts. I still think the Colts are really good, really talented. The Steelers just played better ball. They executed better. The defense was great. I mean, that score at the end doesn't show the whole story. Steelers really put belt to ass in this game. And I think A-Rod was just a little pissed after losing to the Packers.
The one thing I've come to learn with the Steelers is you can't doubt them after the last few years, right? It looks like they're supposed to be bad, and they just win ball games. That's what they do. They just win games. So I think if you can get the Steelers as home dogs, it makes sense to get some points because they're going to be in it. They're going to be fighting. You know, Tomlin's a good coach. So, yeah, interesting. I think the Colts will end up being fine, but obviously, definitely not a great game for Danny Dimes, Jonathan Taylor, and crew. But shout out that Steelers defense. Most expensive
Shout out to
defense in
them.
football finally played well after the fans held the funeral for the
All it took
defense
was
in their
Darius
parking lot.
Slay getting hurt.
Yeah, hey, as soon as you get rid of an old corner and you get a little bit more speed in there, that's what it's supposed to look like.
Little bit of energy in there. Bears, Bengals, and an absolute
Game of the week.
barbecue. Game of the week. I mean, this game was insane. I remember, so I had to go do a chore. It was 40.
No.
Yes, I missed it. But it was
No,
I
you
went back and
didn't.
rewatched. I went back and
Oh.
rewatched. So it's 41-27. I'm on the couch enjoying a lovely Sunday afternoon of football. And Joe Flacco throws what looks to be a pick six. All right. I had to go help the lovely lady with something. So I step away for a quick moment, and it was killing me because the Broncos game was also on. But, sometimes you got to just do your part. So, I'm watching the Broncos game on my phone, making sure the Broncos win, get me that free money, and stick to the under. Anyways, I come back inside, TV on, score is 42-41. Bengals take the lead, and I am like, what is going on? And so I go rewatch, and I have to say this was probably the craziest last 2 minutes of football I've ever seen in my life. So,
That's
pick
an
six
understatement.
gets called back. Caleb Williams throws a pick six. It is now, Chase, what's the score?
After Caleb Williams pick six, 40, let's see, so it was 41-27.
Mm-hmm.
Then it was 41-35.
There you go. And then this was where they got a big kick return, right? And then Joe Flacco throws it to T for the tug, right?
No, it was Yosivas. I'm pretty sure.
Boss. That's right. So that makes it 42-41. And I don't know, a minute left in the game, Caleb
Yeah,
Williams
if that.
goes down against the worst defense I've ever seen in my life. I mean, these guys couldn't guard elementary school athletes. I mean, this was horrendous defense. All you got to do is get one stop one time against an unproven quarterback and a new head coach. They go down, they score 47. They missed the PAT, I believe. No, they went for 2 and missed it. 47-42. Hail Mary from Joe Flacco. Man's arms are just not what they used to be. Throws it way short. Little pick to
I
end the games. I
I for
was
sure
really rooting
thought.
for the Bengals in this game.
Oh, me too. And I for sure thought the game script had a Hail Mary in it as well, because onside kick, picks, the guy ends up being down. The Bengals had a kick return touchdown to start the game. I mean, the whole game was just wild. I'm like, dude, this game's got to end on a Hail Mary. But
Crazy.
the crazy
And
play
unfortunately,
was that Loveland catch. There was like 2 Bengals dudes that had him dead to rights.
crazy.
If I love all the freeze frame pictures that have gone up on the internet, and you're like, this ended up being a touchdown.
Yeah. Those are always
So
the
bad.
best.
And then Jamar Chase was
Unfortunately,
frustrated.
yeah. Yes, he was saying, "Where's the defense?"
One
Unfortunately,
stop.
I do think this is gonna be that I think that ends it for the Bengals season. I think the Ravens, with Lamar back, they have the same record now. I think Ravens are just gonna come out and surpass them, and then I don't see the Bengals passing the Steelers. So I do think that is the coffin for the Bengals. I could be wrong though. We'll see what happens going forward. Chiefs, Bills, Chase. Every team we put in our top 5, besides one of our power rankings last Monday, they all lost this week, including the Chiefs, who we had won. And Josh Allen just knows how to really work those boys in the regular season. He jumps to 5-1 in the regular season. Now, when it matters, he chokes. This year might change though. If I'm Kansas City, I don't want to see Buffalo in the playoffs this year.
You just kind of wonder, when is this going to just show up in the postseason? But like the biggest story here was Mahomes's arguably worst game of his career. It's the first time he's ever finished sub 50% completion percentage.
It was bad.
If I'm the Chiefs, I think their biggest issue is like they just drop back and they're like, let's rely on Mahomes. Kareem Hunt was running the ball well, right? He didn't have any big long carries, and it was like 11 carries for 50 yards. Like, that's solid. They were getting yards pretty much at will, and they just drop back, and Mahomes would throw an incomplete pass. They get behind the chains. He does it again. He forces a bad ball. So I'm like, lean into that run game a little bit more, right? Like, in a game like that, Mahomes shouldn't have thrown the ball 30-something times. It should have been 25 times. Kareem Hunt should have had 20 carries in that game with how he was getting it. So I kind of almost think that game was mainly on the coaching, because horrible game plan. Hey, we're getting yards at will. Let's take some pressure off. Let's make sure Josh Allen doesn't get the ball in his hands. And instead they're like, yeah, let's just drop back and throw incomplete passes. So yeah, not a good look for the Chiefs, but obviously we know they do this in the regular season. It's just what happens. It's part of the script.
They'll bounce
Part of the
back, but I'm
script.
starting to worry a little bit about the Chiefs now in a tough division. Vikings, Lions. We unfortunately, this was our one miss of our betting locks. To me, I mean, this looked like the safest line. Lions -8.5. They're coming off a bye. We've seen a little bit of JJ McCarthy. He hasn't looked great, but those boys in purple came out to play, led by JJ McCarthy. He played phenomenal. He threw one interception, but outside of that, I mean, almost a perfect ball game from the young lad. And he was doing a great job finding his receivers. But that defense, how about that defense for the Minnesota Vikings? The Lions still ended up scoring 24, but honestly, if you're holding the Lions offense to 24 points, you're doing a damn good job. So shout out the Vikings defense. Bit of a heartbreak for us, but what can you
Almost
do?
perfect.
Almost perfect.
Yeah.
Would have been lovely. Now
And I
this was
think the Vikings may have put out a script on how to beat that offense. I don't know if you saw it, but the Jahmyr Gibbs gave up 7 pressures. So all they did was they blitz up the middle, and the center can't take both of them. So then there's a free rusher that comes in, and just blows Jahmyr Gibbs up. So
I
we
did
actually
see
saw
Jameer get cooked a couple
we
times.
saw Montgomery playing a little bit more than he has the prior couple weeks because Jahmyr Gibbs just could not pass block. And if he's not, I mean, if he's going to pass block that way, I mean, you can't be playing in the NFL. Like that's bad, And
Yeah.
then all of a sudden you're going to telegraph when he's in, he's getting the ball. So not good. Vikings great game plan because I mean they made Jared Goff look uncomfortable back there. But yeah,
And he was holding
no
on to the ball way too long.
yeah, totally. But I
Getting
mean, once
sacked
you
too
get
much.
a couple of those pressures, you start getting a little bit nervous, right?
A little
Start
bit in the
doubting yourself.
head. Broncos
Totally.
Texans was a defensive matchup like we've never seen before. We had an ugly score, 18-15. I told you guys take the under 39.5. They made me look like a genius because everyone was taking the over. And once
Yeah.
again, Bo Nix and the boys, the Horsies, they get it done. Another little comeback. I mean, this was a game of field goals. Bo Nix and the boys threw 2 touchdowns, went for 2. And then the Texans side, I mean, they could not get the ball in the end zone. So that was nice for my fantasy team because I had Jaime Fairbairn. So that was really nice. But 18-15, Broncos get it done again. 7-2. And at what point does this fool's gold? We come back, we'll come back, we'll make it happen in the fourth. At what point is it no longer fool's gold?
Yeah. I mean, it's a good question. But, I know when the Eagles ran into their really, really bad season where they totally collapsed at the end of the year, they kind of looked like the Broncos, where they were just barely winning, didn't look pretty, and then all of a sudden it caught back up to them. So, right, like the Texans didn't score a touchdown, if I'm not wrong, and they missed
You
a
are
field
correct.
goal. If Fairbairn
You
would have
are
made that
correct.
first field goal, they wouldn't have won this game, right? They were playing Davis Mills for 3/4 of this game, right? And this is how it looks. Like not, I mean, it's just never ever pretty, but obviously a win's a win. It's not about playing your best football now. It's about winning games now, and then towards the very end of the season is obviously when you want to be ramping up and playing better. So hopefully they can figure it out. But obviously a slight win over the Davis Mills led Texans where they miss a field goal and almost beat you without scoring a touchdown doesn't exactly feel good. Defense should pat themselves on the back, but another rough output for the Broncos. I think Bo Nix was like a 60 something passer rating. Just, yeah, obviously not what they look like against the Cowboys, but I don't know.
Not a
When do you
pretty
think?
one, but got it done nonetheless. Bo Nix's worst game. They're going to look to bounce back Thursday night. We'll get to that in a sec. 49ers, Giants. Jackson Dart needs help over there. He's playing out of this world for a rookie quarterback, but he just can't get help. I mean, obviously, with a lot of injuries, it's just very unfortunate. You called the Niners -2.5, so another lock
Lockskin.
placed by you that helped us get to our 8-9. And the Niners, despite their injuries, keep getting it done, keep proving me wrong. And so we'll see what happens going forward. I mean, you just informed us in the league news about another injury. So it is unfortunate that keeps happening to them. Giants are done, though, but 49ers staying alive. So shout out to them. NFL history was made on Sunday at the 4 p.m. Eastern Time slate of games where Cam Little, the sophomore kicker, he's had a bit of a down year after having a big rookie season for the Jaguars last year, but he makes a 68-yard field goal. He hit a 70-yarder in preseason, so everyone was pretty confident he was going to hit this 68-yarder, and that surpassed the 66-yard record held by Justin Tucker, formerly on the Baltimore Ravens. So big moment for the Jags. They also sneak away with the win, 30-29 in overtime. What an electric game. I mean, that was battle of the mids, but they made it a great one. Jordan Love, extremely disappointing. I came in here very high on Jordan Love after the Steelers game where they beat him 35-25, and he played so bad in this game against the Panthers. Um, you lose to the Panthers in a game where you score, I believe it was 13 points. And part of the issue again is I want Matt LaFleur to just stop getting cute with it. Just let Jordan Love sit back and cook. I want to see more of him comfortable in the pocket, throwing some of these deep balls because that's where he thrives. But probably the worst play I've ever seen, if not the worst, one of the worst, is that it should have been a pick six, but he scrambles around. You might know the one I'm talking about. Gets all the way to left sideline and just hucks the ball all the way to the other side of the field. And Romeo Dobbs is just sitting there. I don't know what he was doing, but the Panthers defender should have had a pick six, but he dropped the ball. So a little bit of a dummy. I don't know what he was doing.
Jordan Love threw a horrible pick when he threw it like downfield into like triple coverage for a pick, and it wasn't even close to his receiver. So, yeah, not a good game. The Packers, their recipe for success is play down to competition and play up to competition, apparently. Right? They lose to the Browns, they lose to the Panthers, they tie with the Cowboys. But then when it comes time to play the Lions, they look unbelievable. So, I mean, I guess the good news for Packers fans, you can, keep that chin up knowing that you'll probably only see good teams in the playoffs. So maybe your team will just keep looking good against the good teams and just look bad against the bad teams.
If you missed out on our last week's locks of the week, our betting predictions and slips, you missed out on making a lot of money. So we went 8 for 9, where I told you to take the over on Derrick Henry, 89.5 rush yards in Thursday Night Football. We told you to take the -7.5 for the Ravens against the Dolphins on Thursday Night Football. And we also told you to take the under 51.5 on Thursday Night Football. And then we went into Sunday's slate of games. I told you to take the under 39.5. That was a hit for the Broncos-Texans game. Chase told you to take the Niners -2.5. That was a hit. And then I told you to take Jonathan Taylor's under 93.5 rush yards. That was a hit. And then Chase told you to take the Chiefs Bills under 54.5 total points. That was a sweat. It was a good one, but it was a hit. And then I told you to take the Lions -8.5. That was our one miss. Then we go into SNF and we hit Seahawks money line. So we were cooking. It was a great week for all you that tailed. I know Chase and I did pretty well, so can't complain. Now, on the other side of things, our start sits were a little bit uglier. Chase, who were your starts of the week?
Yeah, my starts, and obviously we try to, pick some good ones, some non-obvious ones, but I picked Xavier Worthy and Deebo Samuel. Not good. I think Xavier Worthy had 6 points and Deebo had like 8 points. Just super disappointing. I think I can explain the logic behind both of them, especially the Deebo one. It's like, no Terry McLaurin, Jaden Daniels is back. They're going to probably be losing. They need to throw the ball a lot. I just didn't
I
see them
loved
getting
both your
blown out.
picks. It is just
And then
unfortunate the way the game script didn't go their way. But yeah, Xavier Worthy 6 total fantasy points, Deebo Samuel 9.4 fantasy
and
points.
then I don't know what the Chiefs are doing. It's like there was so many times it was so obvious that Rashee Rice was being doubled, and Patrick Mahomes would force it to him, and it'd be an incomplete pass. Probably why Patrick Mahomes completed less than 50% of his passes. I mean, it's like, dude, you got a guy on your team that runs a 4-2-2, right? Throw him the ball.
Luckily, we'll
Throw
bounce
him the
back
football.
next week. Chase,
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear who your sits of the week were. You
Oh,
should have flipped these.
yeah.
Or yeah,
Oh,
yeah, your sits.
it would have been awesome. I had probably the best sit of the week. Brock Bowers.
I hope all you
Horrible.
guys listen to Chase on that one.
Horrible.
Comment in the
Obviously,
chat if you sat Brock Bowers because of Chase.
obviously, I mean, the good news is the amount of listeners right now. I don't think anybody did. So I'll hold
Yeah,
my,
that's fair.
head high that at least it didn't cost too many people their game. But yeah, overtime certainly didn't help, especially with him getting yards and a touchdown. But yeah, not a good one. Brock Bowers decides to not play well all season, get injured, still kind of be somewhat injured, and just be like, okay, well, that's the game. And especially against the Jags defense, that was supposed to be really, really good coming off a bye. It's like great defense coming off a bye, and they're like,
29
yeah,
points
this
to the Raiders. Come on.
so bad. So yeah, the Brock Bowers one was really, really bad, and then Romeo Dobbs, 16 points. I mean, obviously that one's not gonna ruin you. It might not win it for you, but definitely a player you should start. If you think you're going to get 16 points from a guy in a 8, 10, or 12-man league, you should probably start the guy. So
Romeo Dobbs. Start him going forward. Tucker Kraft out.
yeah, he keeps
even more
consistent.
opportunity now.
I thought Christian Watson coming back was going to take some of his touches, and apparently no. Jordan Love likes
He's the
him,
man
but
over there in Green Bay. All right, my
didn't do very
starts
well.
of the week. I had the Jags wide receivers. They combined for 8.5 fantasy points.
That's bad.
Obviously, unfortunate that after our show, it came out that Travis Hunter might have tore his ACL. We'll see what happens. But obviously the injury news wasn't great. And then, dude, Brian Thomas Jr., I am so tired of watching this dude. I mean, he doesn't try. He doesn't work. It pisses me off. And then T-Law can't throw to the broadside of a barn, so that's not a good combo. And I told you to start Bam Knight tonight against the Cowboys. I just loved that Amari DeMarcado went from not even touching the field to all of a sudden getting the most touches. So didn't work out for me. Yeah, I know that was weird. Had 6.7 fantasy points, so 2
Our
L
starts were
starts for me.
bad. At least your sits were good though.
My sits were good. I told you sit Kayshon Boutte despite him being hot, and Drake May's favorite target over the last few weeks. That turned out well for you. He scored 0 fantasy points. I also told you fade Jordan Addison. Jordan Addison's been cooking, but JJ McCarthy's taken over. We don't know what that's going to look like. He scored 8.4 fantasy points.
Yeah, so obviously if you're a Vikings fan, looks good for you. Team wins game. If you have Jordan Addison on your fantasy team, not good. But
so we didn't do great for you this last week, but we will improve for you next week.
We won't
try to be as bold.
I don't think I can have a worse sit. I can keep being bold.
That has to be the worst sit taken in NFL
especially
history.
From a tight end, right? Because obviously like a wide receiver, running back, they can totally pop off. But a tight end, I mean, come on now.
That is crazy. Okay, now my favorite segment of the show, next to the sports betting segment, we have award predictions and power rankings. So we are going to give our predictions for MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, and Defensive Player of the Year. Now, the way I went about this, Chase, is I was like, the way I'm looking at it, how much do I like these guys winning it? Like, I know Josh Allen's the favorite right now, but spoiler alert, I think that's a load of bull. So I'll kind of give you guys maybe not the most dynamic answer, but it's an exciting one. But Chase, I want you to start off with who your Defensive Player of the Year is.
Yeah, my Defensive Player of the Year is kind of, I don't know, an obvious one in my opinion.
Probably have the same one.
I got Myles Garrett.
Oh, okay.
So we don't have the same one.
We don't. That is a good one though. I almost put Myles.
Myles Garrett, 10 sacks. I think whenever there's a bona fide star that has won it in the past, that everyone knows is really, really good, and then they're having an awesome season, I think it's really, really hard not to give that person the MVP, right? Even if somebody's numbers are like a hair better. So I really like what Myles Garrett's been doing this year. Obviously, always a bright point for the really, really bad Browns. Almost always. Besides maybe 2 years that Myles Garrett's been there. So I got Myles Garrett. I think he's a beast. I think he's the best defensive player in football. And he's putting up numbers that are backing that up. I wish the Eagles would have been able to make something happen for him, but way too expensive probably. Who's your Defensive Player of the Year to this point?
Yeah, that was a great pick. I love it. My pick was Micah Parsons.
Really?
The only
Wow.
reason I have Micah over Garrett, honestly, is just being on a more successful team. That's really it. Micah Parsons, 6.5 sacks, 10 or 20 total tackles. I think he's been great on the Packers defense. It's obvious why they wanted to trade for them. Is he worth the money they were paid? If they win the Super Bowl, you can't argue it, but I think he's the best player on the best defense. Not the best defense, excuse me, on one of the best defenses in the league. So for me, that's why he warrants my defensive player of the year on a successful team.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Who's on your offensive player of the year award?
I'm hoping we have the same person. I think this is between two people.
I think
This
there's
guy,
really only one answer, but I really want this second guy to win it, but I do think there's one answer.
okay, I don't know if we have the same person. I'm gonna guess we don't have the same person because my pick for offensive player of the year is Mr. JSN. Man is ballin'. 900 plus yards through. Didn't they just play their 8th game? Yeah, they have. They
Yeah.
haven't even played 9 games yet. So 8 games over 900 yards. So not even halfway through the season. Are we going to see the first ever 2,000-yard receiver? Right? We've seen 2,000-yard rushers, and we know that obviously that's not crazy impressive. I mean, Saquon didn't even get the MVP last year, but a 2,000-yard receiver. JSN's been balling. Offense looks better when it goes through him. So I got JSN. I'm guessing you got the other guy.
Yeah. How many touchdowns did you say JSN has?
In my opinion, and this is a super hot take, touchdowns is one of the most overrated stats. Justin Jefferson, never been a touchdown guy, but everybody says he's the best receiver in football. Calvin Johnson, never was a touchdown guy, was definitely the best when he was there. So I think touchdowns are super overrated, right?
I
You
think
can
you're
get all the
right
way
for
down there.
receivers. I think
And running
touchdowns matter
backs.
a lot for running
And
backs.
running backs, your offense gets you all the way down to the 1 yard line, and then they just give it to you at
Not
the
in
one.
this guy's case.
Well, I mean, yeah. So no, I agree with that, but that didn't mean much last year for Saquon. Saquon didn't have any touchdowns inside 4 yards, and he had 15, and they were all big bombs. It didn't really seem to matter. So
Yeah,
I
that's
don't know.
fair. I just think Jonathan Taylor has 12 rushing touchdowns. I think he has 14 total touchdowns, maybe 15 or 16.
I think
I
it's
do think
15.
JSN's jumped on your list because of recency bias. Obviously, he
I
had a
mean, no, it's
pretty
just every week it's 120. I mean, he went for 120, but it's like that's what he does every
no.
week.
Here's the thing, JSN. I literally have JSN on my honorable mention because I really wanted to put JSN. I think JSN's sick, but I
Yeah,
had
my
to give
only
the nod to
issue,
JT.
he's on pace for like 1,600 yards. I mean, it's like, I don't know. We've seen, I mean, there's been 8 guys to rush for 2,000. There's never ever been a guy to catch the ball for 2,000 yards. Like what I think what Jonathan Taylor's doing, touchdowns aside, I mean, we've seen guys go for 27, 28 rushing touchdowns in a season. But I mean, the rushing yards are pretty much, I mean, it's awesome, and he'll probably lead the league in
Dude, I
rushing
just
yards.
look
But
at Jonathan Taylor. He's got 4 games with 3+ touchdowns.
I mean,
A
you
lot of those are
love the
from big
touchdowns.
breakaway runs. I mean, dude, it's
Yeah,
sexy. And it's
yeah,
not
no,
like he's just like every time they get to the 1 yard line and he gets a touchdown. No, they get to the 1 yard line and Tyler Warren's running it in, or Daniel Jones is freaking like, dude. Not saying JSN's a bad pick because I really wanted to put him there as well. I do think it's between those two, and that's it. But I'm just, dude, I don't know. Jonathan Taylor, he's
I don't know.
that guy. I think.
I could run through those holes, and as soon as the holes weren't very big, he couldn't do anything.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
No, I think Jonathan Taylor's good, and he's having a heck of a season. So
We might have
I
the
don't mind
same
the pick.
MVP sneakily. Who's
If
your
I mean,
MVP?
you know who was number 1 on my quarterback rankings last time we chatted.
We
So if
got
you
the
got that
same
guy,
MVP. We
I mean,
got
he
the
just goes
same
for 4.
MVP.
He goes for 4 touchdowns. I can't. He's number 1 quarterback on
Oh,
my
now
rankings
touchdowns matter, huh?
for quarterbacks. Oh, for
No,
sure.
I'm just kidding. Yeah. So
Yeah.
you
Oh,
got
for
Matt. You
quarterbacks.
got Matt Stafford MVP.
Yeah, Matthew Stafford. I mean, balling 21 touchdowns, 2 picks, tons of yards, on a winning football team, looking good. They should have beat the Eagles. They had a close one against the Niners. Their 2 losses could easily be undefeated. Maybe they got lucky against the Colts, but he looks awesome. I would say more so than anything with the numbers than Matthew Stafford, because obviously the touchdowns, the picks is great, right? But it just looks good. I mean,
His ball placement is
he's throwing
insane.
no look passes that are traveling 30 air yards and
It's
just
insane,
dropping
and
it
that
in
he's
there.
putting it in places that only the receiver can get it. Did you see
Man,
that bomb to Puka?
oh,
And I mean, that was arguably not a catch because of, I mean, you can
yeah,
debate, if he was out of bounds, but that
you
ball
you
placement
can't
was
debate the throw.
insane.
Yeah,
You
no,
can't
it looked
debate the throw. I
yeah,
mean, that
no,
was
he
beautiful.
looks, and they're arguably not running the ball like that great, to be honest. So it's like pretty much like on his shoulders, that offense. And man, it looks good. So
Yeah,
Rams are scary. Wouldn't be
and he keeps
surprised if they
losing
make
Puka, and it don't
wouldn't
matter.
wouldn't be surprised if they make an appearance on the power rankings. Just wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, would not be surprised, let me tell you. All right. That segues us perfectly, Chase. Thank you for that. Moving into our top 5 power rankings. I have to say, I think this week 9 power rankings was probably the hardest power ranking I've ever had to do in the history of football. So, starting off at your number 5, who do you got?
My number 5, I have the Denver Broncos, led by an all-star defense. And their defense,
And Bo Nix.
yeah, I don't know how much Bo Nix has been doing over there, but I would say that defense deserves to be in the top 5, and Sean Payton deserves to be in the top 5, and so does their ability, Bo Nix's ability to find a way to win.
Some
He's
might say
finding
Bo
right now.
Nix deserves to be in the top 5. Not Chase, though.
I don't know. He'd be in your top 5 quarterbacks, huh? That's a
No.
bold take.
No. We just did our quarterbacks. He's right outside around 6 or 7.
Oh,
At
that's high.
my number 5, I really wanted to put the Broncos. It was really between these 2 teams. I decided to go with the Seahawks. The Seahawks just
Oh,
look so good. As a division rival, it pains me. I hate the Seahawks, but they look so good. I mean, outside of my hate for this team, I love JSN. He is so sick, and Sam Darnold is just slinging him that rock, and their defense is back and healthy. They look great. Um, so I decided ultimately to put them over the Broncos. Now,
wow. So Broncos aren't on your list then.
in a neutral site, nope, the Broncos are probably
Wow.
right at 6. And it was a
Okay.
tough, and this is where I said it was really tough for me ranking this. I really, at my 5 spot, was thinking between the Broncos, the Patriots, and the Seahawks. And
So the Patriots aren't on your list either.
Patriots aren't on my list.
Okay. That was one. That was probably my 6th team.
Barely beat the Falcons off of a missed PAT. I couldn't give it to them.
My only issue with the Patriots is they only have like one win where I'm like, that was a good win. Other than
Yeah,
that, they've just been beaten
exactly.
up on trash, on
Exactly.
tomato cans.
Who's your number 4?
Number 4. So this team, they're the only team that was in the my rankings last week that didn't lose, and that's because they had a bye. So I was like, could you move them all the way up to 1? They were the only team that was in the rankings last week.
Yeah.
But I felt like you can't move a team up that much after a bye. So I got the Birds at 4,
No way, dude.
got the Eagles at the 4 spot.
I need some bias out of you from your team. You're way too real on them.
I don't know. I mean, you could make an
Stop being
argument, but
pessimistic.
you could be like, oh, but Chase, the Broncos beat the Eagles, so why are they below them? See, there's a little bias for you. Um,
Golly.
a little bit of a disclaimer: I will have a team that the Eagles beat above the Eagles. But yeah, I think the Eagles obviously good bye week. They got Jalen Phillips. They got healthy. Nolan Smith should be back. So yeah, I got them at the 4 spot. Who's your 4?
At my 4, I had this team at my 2 last week. They're staying in my rankings. I'm going with the Colts. I think
Wow.
this was a game where they were just due to lose. But when I'm looking at it, they still have a better record than most of these teams. They have a better
Mhm.
record than the Chiefs. They have a better record than a couple of these teams on this list. So um, even though they lost, I'm trying to not allow recency bias to sway me off of them because I still think their offense is dominant. I still think their defense is solid. And I still think Shane Steichen's probably going to win Coach of the Year. So for me, I still have the Colts top 4 despite a bad week. Um, because it was just for me, this game was writings on the wall to lose, even though I had them at my 2 spots. So I'm still high on the Colts. I think they'll still have a big season.
Wow. That is, yeah, the Colts, little bit of another disclaimer. They fell out of my power rankings.
Yeah, I figured.
Being an Eagles fan, I saw a lot of Danny Dimes. And what I saw on Sunday, I didn't see Indiana Jones. I saw Danny
Yeah,
Dimes.
those 3 yeah,
And
Danny
so
Dimes. Those
that
3 sacks
scared
were
me.
brutal.
That scared me.
No, that's fair.
And if that's a little bit coming to fruition, the Linsanity run is coming to an end. I don't want the Colts anywhere near these power rankings.
Oh,
But
yeah, and if it
who
happens
knows? I think
again,
they'll
they're
bounce
out.
back. They were close. They were close. So it's not
Yeah.
like it's a bad one. I agree. I
Yeah, a
just
bad game, and they still barely
Danny
lost by
Dimes
1
is back.
score, so
He's back.
no, stay Indiana Jones, come on. Okay, who's your 3?
At my 3 spot, I got a team that I don't know what their deal is. They're up, they're down, they're all over the place. I got the Bills.
Me too.
Awesome win. They play interesting football. One week the defense looks horrible. The next week the defense looks good. One week Josh Allen is the best player I've ever seen. The next week it's kind of a little bit more mediocre, but all I know is I need to just tell myself every week this team should be in the top 5. They're good at football. They find a way to win games. They're running the ball well this year. Josh Allen is still really, really, really good. And the defense is starting to play better. So the Bills are my 3 spot. Awesome win. But we kind of, I guess, should have figured that they would beat the Chiefs in the regular season. Who's your 3?
Yeah, I had Bills as well. Everything you said, I agree. I also think we're probably gonna get to the point where I do think Josh Allen maybe starts turning it up. I thought he looked pretty good against the Chiefs in
Yeah.
this game. 2 rushing tugs, 1 passing tug, and, the issue with the Bills is they play a bunch of good defenses, so I think for them to succeed, they really do need to get James Cook going. Like, every game they've killed, it's been because James Cook has gone crazy. So, it'll be interesting to see what they do against those good defenses going forward. But yeah, everything you said, Bills dominated the Chiefs. I don't think that game was as close as it looked. They really controlled the game the whole way. So, I have Chiefs at 3. Who's your 2?
Yeah. Before I get into my 2, I know you want some bias out of me. A little bit of like this Eagles little fandom coming out. And I got a bone to pick with the Bills, mainly with Sean McDermott. Forgot to mention this in the Eagles Bills segment. Sean McDermott, in the offseason, voted to ban the tush push. And the reason he said is it is a huge concern for players' safety. He said that it puts players, offensive and defensive, in dangerous situations where they will get hurt.
And then
And
runs
this
it
man's out here
multiple times
running
a
the
game.
tush push 4 times. 4 times with your
Yeah,
50 something
that
million
is
dollar
actually
quarterback?
crazy, bro.
No, no. Look, I think the play is a terrible play. It looks horrible. Aesthetically, it looks bad, right? I get it. They have a hard time officiating it properly, right? If they continue to officiate how it's been officiated, it should be banned. But I can't stand a hypocrite. So get your facts straight, get your reasons right. If
Someone
it's
hold
actually
this man
players' safety,
accountable.
come on, a little bit of
Sean
accountability.
McDermott, lock in, dude. What are we
Yeah,
doing?
lock in. There's a little bias for you. Anyways,
Thank
my
you.
number 2.
Who's your 2?
Okay. My number 2, this team came out and looked amazing. And that's the Seattle Seahawks. Good coaching. Run the ball well. Sam Darnold didn't throw his first incompletion until they already had 31 points on the board.
Crazy, bro.
They're
Almost
looking
perfect.
awesome. Their D line is awesome. They embarrassed Jaden Daniels. I keep giving myself, I keep thinking, okay, Sam Darnold at quarterback. This team's going to be good, but not amazing. But are we forgetting Sam Darnold won 14 games last year? And he's about to do the same thing maybe with the Seahawks here. So, at some point, I think I just got to give the man his flowers. Sam Darnold's good. They run the ball well. Great
Number
defensive line.
2.
Number 2, they play good ball through and through.
That was a
Hats off to
curveball.
them. When you embarrass a team that people still believe is somewhat good, and you're only 2.5-point favorites, and you embarrass them on Sunday Night Football, you deserve to be in the power rankings. Number 2.
At my 2, I have the LA Rams. So I know you're gonna have the Rams 1. As a Cardinals fan, I have
Maybe.
no hope if your top 2 power rankings are in my division. But at 2, I have the Rams. They are, one might say they're looking like the most dominating offense in the league right now. The defense is looking really good. I almost see no flaws from the Rams. I already told you Matt Stafford's my MVP. That wide receiver core, when it's fully healthy, is insane. Kyron Williams does a good job on the ground. Sean McVay is a great, great head coach. I think I love everything from the Rams. They have a good young defense that plays really well. But they also have some vets on there. So, their defense is really solid. So I have them 2. The only reason they're not above my number 1 is because my number 1 beat them. On to you,
As
though.
you were talking there, I was thinking, who's that number 1?
Little foreshadowing for you. We'll get into
Hey,
1 in a sec. Who's your
nothing
1?
better. What a way that's going to be a great way to go out on the power rankings. I'm already excited for
Yeah,
it.
you like that?
My number 1 segues perfectly with who you were talking about. Los Angeles Rams. When you have my current MVP at quarterback, that's a good sign. When you have arguably the best coach in football, that's a good sign. When you have a super young, talented defense that flies around and plays good football, that's a good sign. When you have a good running game, that's a good sign. When you have great wide receivers, that's a good sign. So I don't really know why this team can't win it all. They had a really their 2 losses were super close. Arguably, they should have won both of them. They're playing good football. They're scary. I don't want to see them if I'm an Eagles fan. So that's why they take the number 1 spot, and that's why they're above the Birds.
Please, Goodell, give us a Rams-Bills Super Bowl, please. That's all I ask. I know you want the Eagles, but man, I would love me a little Rams-Bills.
Is that your best possible matchup, Rams-Bills? Trying to think of the realistic ones. Trying to think.
Yeah, something new,
The Bills.
Cardinals could be there, but
the
that's
Bills
not gonna
have
happen.
to be in there. The
I
Bills or
know,
the
dude.
Colts are the
Bills
2
have
that
to be
have
there.
to be from
Oh,
the AFC,
Colts
but
would
I
be
would say
fun.
mainly the Bills.
Colts would be fun, but I
Mainly the
want the
Bills.
Bills
They
there.
need one.
I
But
would
you could
love
say
Josh
that
Allen to get one.
Rams would be good. Bucks would be good. Seahawks would be good.
No, because they've been there before. I don't want to see
I
that.
wouldn't.
And it's my
I
division.
kind of want to see the Niners get it done.
No.
Niners could be a good one.
Well, you're segueing me perfectly into my number 1. And my number 1, give me the San Francisco 49ers. Just give me the Philadelphia Eagles.
Hey,
I had to do
shout
it
out
to
the
you.
Niners though.
I got so excited. Oh yeah. No, give me the Philadelphia Eagles.
Come on.
I think they look very good. I know they had a slow start. They had a slow start last year. I'm beating a dead horse at this point. I'm very high on the Eagles, especially after the moves they just made. I know a reason you stated that they're only in your 4 spot is because they're on bye, but I think they really improved while they are on bye, and I also think it's possible to improve on bye, and you said it yourself, they had a lot of wins on or they had a win on bye because everyone in the division lost. Same here. They had a win in my power rankings because everyone else in my power rankings lost. So,
Mm.
I'm really high on the Eagles, and I wouldn't be surprised if they made it back to the Super Bowl. Again, I'm rooting for the Rams to overtake them in the playoffs. We already saw the Eagles beat them once. It's no tough task beating the Eagles. Everyone knows that. So that's why they're my number one
Question for you.
answer.
I'm going to give you maybe your potential lock of the week. What if I told you your number one team was an underdog against a team that's not even in your power rankings?
Let me guess. Eagles play. Do they play the Niners?
Green Bay Packers. It's at the Packers.
Ooh,
Packers are minus
Eagles,
2.5. So you can get the
Packers.
Birds plus 2.5. You can get your number one team.
Oh,
We're going to see if
the
Connor
only
puts
thing
his
that
money where his
scares
mouth
me,
is.
the
Let's
only
see if
thing
he
that
puts his
scares
money
me
where
about
his
this
mouth
game,
is.
if the Packers would have beat the Panthers, I would be hammering the Eagles so hard
Oh,
here.
a revenge spot is, or not a revenge spot, but a bounce back
Bounce
spot with a
back.
good coach. With a
Oh,
good coach.
there's
Yeah,
no way the Packers lose 2 in a
I
row.
was actually rooting for the Packers to squeak one out
I'm
because
sure
now
you
they're
were. Yeah.
because now they are going to be playing
Oh,
another level of ball.
yeah,
But yeah,
that's
I just think it's
brutal. I don't know
interesting.
if I can do that. We'll see what happens, though.
Can't even
Little
take his number
foreshadowing.
one team as a dog against a team that's not even in his top five. Horrible power rankings.
No, it's not. It's all circumstantial. It's all about storylines. Okay,
So your number one team would lose to a team outside your top five. Interesting.
I
Clown him in
haven't
the
said that yet.
comments.
I haven't said
Clown
that
him in
yet.
the comments.
We don't
Okay,
have comments.
clown
Okay,
him on Friday.
we got to move on. Thursday night football. We're gonna hit you with some locks. We're not gonna let you down. But first, we have the Raiders 2-6 going into Denver to face on the 7-2 Broncos. Bo Nix and the boys looking to increase to 8-2 against the division rival. Now, this game could be a snoozer, but Chase and myself think otherwise. On paper, this looks like a really bad game. Raiders 2-6, Broncos 7-2. Where it's interesting is it's divisional rivals. The Raiders offense looked really good against a good defense last week. And so that's going to segue us into our locks for Thursday night football. Starting off, Raiders plus 9.5.
Lock.
It is an absolute lock. Everyone's probably going to be taking the
Leave money.
Broncos after after a close game. It is interesting. Broncos could win by 10, but I find that very hard for them to do considering every game they're having to climb back out of. And the only game they really blew out was the Cowboys, but they're not a division rival. So I think the Raiders, they're going to come out in their bag. I think after an emotional loss like they had this last week, I mean, against the divisional rival, I mean, I wouldn't even be surprised if the Raiders squeaked out a win. I mean, this is a perfect bounce back letdown. Perfect bounce back letdown. So the lock is the Raiders plus 9.5. If you are feeling risky, take the Raiders money line. But that's if you're feeling risky. Now, Chase, you weren't expecting that one there. That's not the lock though. The Raiders plus 9.5 is the lock. Chase, what is our other lock of Thursday night football?
We got Mr. Cortland Sutton. He's going to go over his receiving yards. I believe it was 52.5. Correct me if I'm wrong.
52.5 receiving yards for Cortland
Wow.
Sutton. You're
Going to be a
telling
close
me
one.
the number one receiver on this team is going against the second worst secondary in the league, and his line is 52.5. Hammer the over. I mean, and he's very
Hammer.
due. He had one reception last game, so I could see a big game coming for Cortland Sutton. And then moving into our third lock of the week, he came out and in week 9 put on an absolute show. We had one-handed touchdown catches. We had an overtime catch for a touchdown. We had another touchdown to, I believe, take the lead at the time. He had 3 touchdowns in week 9. How hard can it be for Brock Bowers to get one anytime touchdown at a plus 165 against the
Mistake.
Denver Broncos? Gimme Brock Bowers anytime touchdown. That's your 3 locks of the week. If Brock Bowers doesn't get a touchdown, the Raiders need to sell the team. All right.
Yeah. And if anyone
Those are
tells you to sit Brock Bowers, don't listen to him.
Don't listen to him. Brock Bowers, absolute dog. I would know. I started him. All right. Those are our 3 locks of the week. We went 8 for 9 last week. So make sure to comment if you did tail. And if anything misses, clown us in the comments later, but it's not going to because they're locks. Now that is it for Thursday Night Football. Chase, we are an hour 15 in, so I'm thinking no after show today.
No after show.
Unless you
Even
want to.
though 5 minutes of it was you changing out, plugging in your phone. I think
That's
time
true.
made it pretty good.
That's true. We can do 10.
2 things real quick on the after show. First one, I just didn't have the heart to correct you. And you're going to see it when you go into the edits. But you kept saying we had an NBA record. An NBA record.
Oh.
It's awesome. You have to leave it in. And then have this little snippet. So in case for anybody that wants to know, Cam Little, technically Connor was not wrong, and that's why I didn't correct him. It is an NBA record. Nobody has ever made a field goal longer than Cam Little in the NBA.
That's brutal.
But it was also an NFL record. So you can add that little snippet in there if
These
you'd
night
like, Connor.
recordings kill me. If you made it this far, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, show some love for the boys. That is brutal, though.
Yeah, I just thought it was funny. I didn't have the heart to just interrupt you right there because I kind of thought it was funny.
Well,
but yeah,
I
it was
appreciate that.
It was good. I liked it too much, and technically, you're not wrong because it is an NBA record
True.
as well.
I'm always right.
But yeah, no, it was something else. And I had one more thing. I was trying to don't remember it now. Now it's escaping me.
Okay.
Rough
My
week for me
favorite
in
moment of
fantasy.
the show was going into the number 1 spot. Just totally leading you on like it was the Eagles and then just going Niners.
You should have stuck with it. You should have stuck with it.
No, hell no.
I could have defended
That was
it.
fun though. Huh?
I said I could have defended it. Why the Niners at the 1 spot?
At first I thought you were celebrating because I said it and it took you a little delayed reaction to be like, no. I was like, oh. But yeah, that was the perfect reaction.
I almost didn't hate it. I was like, wow, bold. I like it. But
yeah.
no, it was a good one.
Yeah.
But
I'm gonna post a clip of it for sure.
Oh, you have to. What was the man? I had something just on the tip of my tongue ready to go. Oh man, that bothers me. It's that whole NBA thing. NBA record just got me all
got you juiced up.
Oh, how about my week in fantasy, dude? Having to start Chuba Hubbard and Samaje Perine. I had 4 starters. Good starters out.
Did you have the worst backfield this week? What did your starters do?
I literally have Swift.
A combined 2.2 points. That is crazy.
Yeah, and Samaje getting hurt in like the first quarter didn't help. But literally, DeAndre Swift on the bench, AJ Brown on the bench, Saquon on the bench, Rashad White on the bench, just cooked. And all my opponent has on the bench is Breece Hall, who arguably should be on the bench.
How about me getting the most points in the league this week? Shout out to me. My team is going to be, and that's with my running back room combining for 6.8 or 5.8 fantasy points. So, when we get Bucky, Quinshawn, I mean, we are going to be looking nice.
Do you think Bucky's coming back?
No,
That's a
I'm hopeful.
CMC written all over it.
No,
And your
don't
team's
say
gonna be
that.
good.
No, don't say that. I was very glad your team lost this week. I can't lie, because your team scares me, and now I jump up 2 spots because you. And how about the beat of the week? Seabass losing by 0.18 fantasy points.
So it's actually big for me too.
He couldn't
That
get
means
0.2 more fantasy points.
I'm gonna barely stay in the playoffs if it ended today. But dude, I honestly don't. I'm starting to not like my team as much because my big fear now is right. Chuba Hubbard was a fine start, and then all of a sudden Rico
Tried
Dowdle
to
comes
tell
in.
you. I
Rico
tried to
Dowdle comes.
tell you.
No. That's not even the reason I don't like it. Rico Dowdle comes in, starts killing. Right. Chuba, I was arguably going to drop for this week, but I had to play him because I didn't have anybody to play. But my issue is does that happen with DeAndre Swift? Swift gets
Oh, it
hurt,
for
doesn't
sure
play.
is. I was
Oh,
gonna say
dude,
something to you.
how
You're
unlucky,
cooked.
dude.
You're
So
cooked.
unlucky because I'm gonna have
Because
to play one of those.
that backfield's gonna be at least
Dude,
60-40 now.
and then, I mean, the good news is I just need to find another running back because I have plenty of good flexes, like plenty of awesome
Yeah.
flexes. But the only thing is I'm gonna have to figure out my RB2 if if I'm just praying Bucky never comes
Yeah,
back and I'll be fine.
as
But I'm
long
gonna
as
have
he
to go
doesn't
wheeling
come
deal
back, you're fine. But even
because the good
still,
news,
like, in the games that Bucky's been out, you had 17 or you had 23, 17, but then you had 8 and then you had 8. So, like,
yeah, I mean, but like, yeah, I mean, that's gonna happen sometimes. But if eight's like the worst it gets, it's not
yeah,
the
that's
end of
true.
the
It's
world.
not
But
the worst.
the good news is they'll have Olave and Jamar at my wide receivers, and then my flexes will be AJ Brown and Romeo Dobbs or Gadsden who keeps cooking. So,
Trey McBride is so sick.
but the issue is I need a running back, dude. I might have to go
All right.
flip.
Tell you what, I'll
I might
give
have
you
to go flip
Bucky
something.
for Jamar.
Hell no. Jamar, we saw a bad week last week, and what he
I know,
dropped
he had
18.
17.
That's a bad week.
Oh, it was horrendous week for him. Still dropped
Dude, I
over
didn't know what
100
was
yards.
going on, dude. I'm like, he's supposed to have 12 catches.
Yeah, you're not used to that, huh?
Yeah,
I
wasn't
know,
used
but
to it.
of course I play you without my
Are we
Mahomes
playing each other
Rice
this week?
stack. This week we play each other.
No way. We got to do a
So
wager. Actually, we got to do our Friday show. Better be. We actually got to do a whole fantasy football segment and
what
just
should we
put
do
up our
for
two
it?
lineups. Just put up our two lineups. Hey,
Okay.
who's got the better team? Show it to him.
I like that. I like that.
And
Yeah,
then we got
this
to
is
put a little
fun.
friendly
Eric
wager.
took his second loss. Yeah, we'll do a little friendly wager. I just can't believe Seabass, bro. But
Oh,
yeah, so I am gonna be without Patrick Mahomes and Rashi Rice,
that's
but
great news.
I will have Bucky Irving. He's projected to play.
Yeah, he's just like Kyler was projected to play, just like Brock Purdy was projected to
Exactly.
play.
I'll have Quinshawn Judkins back.
Ain't playing.
Quinshawn Judkins. And then we got Ibuka back. Jets is going against the 31st defense in points. So hopefully he drops 20. And Drake London's going against the 30th defense in points. So he might drop 50. And then you are without Jamar Chase. So that's
No,
huge for the program. Yeah.
no. Oh, and the other good news is, I think another player I'm going to be without, most likely, Jaden Daniels will
Oh, yeah,
probably
he's
not
done.
be breaking. He
He's
will
done.
probably not be breaking the starting lineup next week.
That's true. So,
And then I pray AJ Brown's back from a hamstring.
yeah, because he's still listed as out, but he's projected to play. Swift is projected to
Saquon,
play.
hopefully
CJ
Swift's better.
Stroud might not even play, but if he
Oh,
does, you'll
dude,
probably be
I've
fine.
just shambles, dude.
I know.
Shambles. This team's
I
in
got a
shambles.
good week to play you, even though I'm missing my stack.
Yeah, it's just the crazy thing is that was a freight train. It was second most points, and then 3 straight weeks of the most points, and then just a horrible output this last week. Probably because I said sit Brock Bowers, and then now my team's just cursed.
You just cursed your own team. Oh, that's so
So
funny.
bad, dude. I need to find a
Garrett putting on a show despite sitting Marv.
he had a couple players on his bench that
And
good
Joe.
games.
He said Joe Flacco. 30 fantasy points, even though he had 2 interceptions. 470 yards and 4 touchdowns. My goodness.
Dude, I might have to pick up Brissett, play him
Yeah,
against you, just so you could just
so I
so
have
you
to
can
root
watch him
against him.
cook.
Against Seattle. He's a dog, dude. 20,
No, I'm never
20,
starting him against Seattle.
25.
He's not. He's gonna get cooked against Seattle.
He cooked Green Bay.
Yeah. So did Yeah, I guess that's actually kind of fair. Well, actually, that's kind of fair, kind of not fair. Depends which Green Bay you get. Dak put 40 on him and threw for like 400,
I guess that's
and then
fair.
they hold Bryce Young to 102 pass yards and they lose.
Yeah, that's fair. That is fair.
Who knows? I might. That'd be a tough one. I might start Dylan Gabriel just cause.
Bro, I think
Just
it's so weird that the Cardinals just dropped Michael Carter.
Yeah, it makes no sense. Makes no sense whatsoever. But
The other thing I thought was hilarious is Ramondre Stevenson goes down, and instead of making
instead of Travion Henderson getting like a lot of the carries, he has to
they
split
throw in
backfield.
Terrell Jennings,
Hey,
who
but
gets
he actually
11 carries.
They kind of look the same though, to be
No, he had
honest.
11 carries for 35 yards. That's gross.
What did Henderson have?
Let's see.
I think it was something similar.
It probably was. He's not great. Poor Jordy, dude, drafting him in the 4th round. He had 14 for 55, so
I mean, that's about the same.
let's see.
That's not like, oh my goodness.
No, that's 4 yards a carry. That's not bad.
14 for 55?
Yeah, it's like 3.95 or something.
Yeah, 14.
Well, Jennings literally averaged 3.
3.9 versus, what did you say, 11 for 34? Yeah, that's 3.1 versus 3.9. I mean,
That's a big difference.
I mean, but no, not through 11 and 14 carries. You could just have one like 20-yard rush, and the other guy longest rush was 9 yards, and you're like, well, if you take away those 2 carries, it's the same running back.
Well, that's a good point.
But yeah, no, I don't think. Yeah, that one's just interesting. Patriots are a tough one to figure out because that wasn't exactly a great game, and I didn't think Drake May had his best game either.
Yeah, I agree.
But Shelby, I love the Cardinals jersey after a dub. Just warms my heart.
Had to rock it, dude.
Love it. You don't get to rock it too often, so.
I actually rock it too much. Like, this thing needs to go in storage here shortly.
Who is that? Is that Trey McBride 85? That's kind of hard
Yeah,
to
the
tell.
only player on the team I like. Marv is coming around, though.
And Walter Nolan, soon to be.
Walter Nolan, soon to be. And Will Johnson, too. Shout out to him. All right.
Buda Baker. How can you not get Buda Baker?
No, I like Buda. He's just like, he's not the sexy jersey, you know.
That's fair. But anyways,
I don't get a safety jersey. But all right, we are the Grid Aces Show. I'm your host, Connor Hall, here with Chase Godey. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, we're out. Peace.